Hey guys, I wanted to do a video on talking about the knives that we carry and why. I put out some of my collection just to, not to show them off or anything, but to talk about why we choose to carry the knives that we carry. Do you carry something because it's cool? Do you carry something because it's expensive? Do you carry something because it's cheap? Do you carry something because it has sentimental value? Or do you carry it because it just works every time you want it to work? The thing that made me think about this is most of the knives I have are here, and you can see I've got some fairly nice, somewhat expensive knives. I mean, there's no Hinders here or Chris Reeves or anything. My wife would sign the divorce papers immediately if I spent anywhere near that on a knife. So I'm lucky to have bought what I have here, not necessarily for the lack of money, but for the responsibility and the wife's opinion on what's worth money. So one day I hope to snag a couple of those up. But anyways, what I was getting at is, I've got some reasonably cool and expensive knives, and I carry them, I don't know if I'd say regularly, but every once in a while. But the knives that I end up carrying the most, to me, I don't know if I would say it's because they work the best, or they just seem to go with what I'm doing. But this isn't one. I was just picking it up and showing it because this is a cool, fun knife, very ergonomic. But I don't really carry it that often. I tend to carry a knife that, some cases, what I'm wearing, it might be just a smaller knife, like my little Dragonfly here. I probably carried this more than anything that I have here. Everything you see here, this has been carried probably 10 times more than all of them put together. It was my first Spyderco, and it works really well. Small knives can do big knives jobs. VG10, as you all know, yeah, it's a backlock. It's not a real fast opener or closer, but you know what? It's lightweight, fits in my slacks, and it cuts everything. It stays sharp for a long time. It's really sharp right now. So that's why I carry it. I guess I would say I carry it because it does a good job, and it does it without getting in my way. It's little, it's light. It doesn't bang around and bump into things when I'm wearing slacks. Slacks are kind of loose and light, and you don't want to have a 5-ounce knife banging around in your pocket, poking a hole basically in your slacks. So that's usually why I end up carrying this guy. But that makes me wonder why I ended up lately mostly carrying the Knockout here, because it is by no means small. I mean, this guy is nice. This guy is 8 inches long. Not a big knife, but a good size knife. I don't know, it keeps making its way into my pocket. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I just love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. The lock is real easy. Just to open and close is super, super easy. I got this one about the same time as I got the Embassy. which is a very cool, very expensive knife, or shouldn't say very expensive, somewhat expensive, $200 knife. But I find myself carrying the Knockout more often. And I wouldn't say because I'm worried about hurting or scratching or losing the Embassy, because I take really good care of my stuff and I've never lost any of my knives. And you can see my Dragonfly, I carry it the most, and it's in excellent shape. I take good care of my stuff. So why do I continue to carry the Knockout? I don't know. You guys tell me, those of you who know anything about it. I think about a knife and I think, oh, I'm going to go grab something to play with. You know, I shouldn't say play with, but you know, us knife guys will be sitting there watching TV and we'll just be flicking and closing and flicking and closing something, and it, you know, 7, 8 times out of 10, it's a Knockout. I'm not a huge Kershaw fan. I mean, they make good stuff for the money. I'm mostly a Spyderco fan, as you guys can see or know. But man, this Knockout just keeps coming back. It's, come on, focus. It's made in the USA. It's a version of Sandvik steel. So it is a good knife. Good lightweight, thin carry knife. I don't know. I'd like to have your guys' opinion on it. It's also been, I haven't actually been carrying any of my Spydercos, except for the Embassy because it's new. I've actually been going back and forth between the Knockout and usually the Titanium Cryo. I know I've got one set aside for you guys that's unopened and untouched, but I end up carrying this usually when I'm not carrying that. I don't know if I'm getting Kershaw in my blood. Maybe I cut myself too many times with my Kershaws and it's getting in the blood, but these knives just work well, stay sharp, and you get a lot of knife for your money. These Cryos are excellent. Ender Designs. I mean, this is a $30 knife. I mean, that's what it costs, but in value, I think it's much higher than that. It's got that nitride coating. It looks amazing. I mean, I don't think you can beat that Hinderer design. It's got good jimping. It's even got jimping down here for a little extra grip. It's got a good finger protector there. It's a good size too, not too big, not too small. You know, it's a good chunk smaller than the Knockout. Don't know, guys. What do you think? Even when I have the choice to carry something cool, like the Lightning, which is not very expensive, so who cares if it gets thrashed or broken or whatever. And it's super cool. I mean, it doesn't get much cooler than that. Even my wife just goes, man, that's so cool. And she doesn't give a rat's ass about knives, but she still thinks that is super cool. And it is, but as most of you knife guys know, when you look closely at a knife and you know it's just a cheap whatever, you kind of lose some respect for it. So, and these are cheaply made, but they are very, very cool. So, sorry I just kind of drug on kind of long, guys. Just curious. I'll probably start carrying this little Nano a little more too, because it's so small and light and very, very cool. If anybody has any questions or wants to request for me to talk about any one of these knives here, just let me know in the comments and I'll set it aside and make a short video on it. I think that's pretty much it. Why do you guys think the two knives that I carry the most are so exact opposite of each other? A lot of you guys have been collecting knives and playing with knives much longer than myself, so maybe there's some kind of hidden science to it. Ooh. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.